Hi everyone, my name is Zai Dawodu. I'm from Frederick, Maryland, and I'm here to give you the tour today of Northwestern University. Some fun facts about me: my major, I'm radio, television, and film, and I'm also doing a minor in entrepreneurship. And when I'm not usually giving tours, I'm usually doing communications for student government here, or I'm part of the Black Mentorship program as well, and I also love to work on different student film sets across campus. So, let's go! So the best way to start a Northwestern tour is by talking about the history of Northwestern. So Northwestern was founded in 1851 by a group of Methodists, and the interesting thing is that we're called Northwestern because we were the Northwestern territory at the time. Obviously, we should not be called Northwestern anymore then, we should be called Midwestern, but here at Northwestern, we're anything but mid. So Northwestern, we remain. But I have to tell you guys, this is one of my favorite parts on campus. We're here on South Campus. The great thing about Northwestern is that our campus isn't that big, so from North to South Campus, it's only about a 15-minute walk, and a lot of students also like to ride their bike. And from this part of campus, we're only about a 5 to 10-minute walk from the lovely Evanston. And if you're wondering, what is there to do in Evanston? I will tell you one of the best things: eating. Evanston is very known for all its different restaurants and food, and it even has 6 different boba shops. So boba for basically every day of the week, if you can imagine. And we also have a lot of great restaurant partners who will do student discounts if you show them your wild card, which is your Northwestern student ID. So another great thing about Evanston is its proximity to Chicago. We're not really that far from one of the biggest cities in the world. There's a few different ways to get there. First, you can either take the intercampus, which connects our Chicago campus to the Evanston campus, and it's usually free for Northwestern students. You just have to show them your wild card, and it runs Monday to Friday. But if that doesn't work, you can also take the L train, and it's only $2.50 one way, $5 total, and it's a really great option since it allows you to have complete access to all the different neighborhoods of Chicago. And then we also have the Metra, which is like our commuter train, and that's a bit more expensive, about $5, and that's also just another way to get to different neighborhoods of Chicago. And with all those great ways to get to Chicago, it only makes sense that we have a lot of fun activities to do in Chicago, which is why we also have multiple museum partners in Chicago that also give us discounts as Northwestern students. So we can get into the Art Institute for free, the Museum of Contemporary Art for free as well, and also for a lot of other operas and activities and festivals, we also get discounts as students, which is really great. So congratulations, you just completed one of the biggest Northwestern traditions, March Through the Arch. So when all our new Wildcats come in their first year in September, they have their friends and family cheering them on as they start their Northwestern journey by marching through the arch. It's part of our week-long Wildcat orientation called Wildcat Welcome, and they're usually led in by a PA, which is a peer advisor, an older Northwestern student who helps lead them through their journey, their beginning of their journey here at Northwestern. It's one of my favorite traditions, as I was a peer advisor and helped to lead my very own set of freshman Wildcats through that arch. Hi, so we're here at The Rock, and we're going to talk about one of my other favorite traditions. This one actually has a whole story to it, and it goes all the way back to the 1920s. There was a class who donated a water fountain to Northwestern. What a lovely gift, but sadly Northwestern left the pipes on one winter, and the pipes burst, and the fountain was no longer usable. So it just kind of stood here for years and years. Before, in the 50s, the freshmen decided, you know what, we could do something about that. And they decided to paint the fountain. They came out in the middle of the night and literally wrote "Seniors drool, freshmen are cool," or something along those sorts. And as you can imagine, when the seniors woke up the next day, they were not pleased. But the freshmen still really loved the tradition, so it stands, even though they were forced to clean off the paint that they did by the seniors apparently with their toothbrush. But a great tradition was born, and the way it goes is that you have to guard the rock for 24 hours. We even have tents to rent at Norris University center. That's how serious we are about it. And then after you guard it for 24 hours, you can finally paint it at night with whatever you like. Right now, there seems to be some Twister motive going on, but we've also had a lot of other things, people trying to do Mother's Day gifts and also just advertising a club that they're doing, or also concerts, and also for political activism. And the great thing is that people will know if you follow the tradition or not, because there is a camera up on our university hall that live streams The Rock 24/7, and you can even check it out right now if you want to.
So we're here in front of Annie Swift Hall, and this is where I, as a radio, television, and film major, usually take my writing classes and also other film theory classes as well. And I feel like this is a great time to segue into academics here at Northwestern. So we have 6 schools here at Northwestern. First, we have School of Communication, my home school, the McCormick School of Engineering, where my entrepreneurship minor is housed, the Medill School of Journalism, and also Greenan School of Music, the School of Education and Social Policy, and last but not least, Weinberg College of Art and Sciences. So something really great about School of Comms is that we really are focused on interdisciplinary education. So yes, I take a lot of film classes, but I'm also required to take classes in other areas as well. I'm required to take classes in the science/math department, also social science classes/humanities, and also art and literature classes. And that's why even now as a film major, I'm taking classes in econ, sociology, intro to painting, so many different types. And I would like to say proudly that I've taken a class in every school, which is a feat that not many can do, but here at Northwestern is very much possible.
Northwestern has a lot of different opportunities outside of the classroom. So we have study abroad, we have research, we have a multitude of internships, and even more advisors. To start with study abroad, you can basically do study abroad in every continent if you wanted to, and you don't have to be of a specific major. You can be of any major. I've known people in every single one of the schools who's done study abroad, and I even know people who've done multiple study abroads. One in Prague, one in Australia, one in South Africa. I even know someone who went to Antarctica. So really, the world's your limit when it comes to study abroad. So for people not interested in study abroad, they can also do research, and Northwestern's the great place for research. We have over $3 million worth of research grants, and please know, research is not just for people in the STEM majors. Anybody can do research here. One of the best examples is that we have the Summer Undergraduate Research Grant, and that can be used for scientific research, but also for your creative projects. There have been people who've used the research money to do research for their plays by going to different countries and learning about the culture there, so they can then put it back into their play or other creative project that they're doing. I even know somebody who's using a research grant to make a film this summer, which is pretty exciting. And then another great thing too that we have is that with all these research and study abroad opportunities, sometimes you're so overwhelmed with all the things we have. So who do you talk to? An advisor. And at Northwestern, each student has a multitude of advisors. Myself, I have at least 4 advisors, one for my minor, one for my major. I also had a study abroad advisor, and I also had a peer advisor, my older Northwestern student who helped me get through the first week. So when it comes to advisors, you're all set, and it's really useful considering all the different resources we have. And talking about resources, I have to mention the career advancement. Career advancement, one of my favorite resources here on campus. They're the people who help students get internships and jobs. They have a lot of different types of programs. And it's not just looking over your resume and helping you negotiate for jobs when it comes to salaries. That is something they do, but also they also help you with your career development. Something they did for us film majors is that they actually had the Marvel screenwriter who's writing Blade Runner. She came here on campus and actually was able to read some of our different screenplays, help us edit them, and also give us suggestions about how we can break into the industry. What other kind of place allows you to have that one-on-one experience? And talking about great things here at Northwestern, I have to mention Deering Library. This library was founded back in the 1920s, and it's actually inspired by one of the libraries at the University of Cambridge. We love to call it our Hogwarts library. It's honestly very, very beautiful inside. I wish I could take you guys in, but sadly they're doing construction in it to make it even better. But you can find photos online, and I highly suggest you do, just so you can see the really pretty stained glass and also other parts of the vinery. And we also have special gardens on each side of it as well, which are also really beautiful. With all the great academics Northwestern has to offer, people sometimes forget that Northwestern is also a D1 fun school. And I want to highlight some of my favorite varsity athletic teams. Men's basketball has made it to March Madness twice. What can I say? I'm a big fan. And then also we have our women's lacrosse team who has won the national championship twice, back to back. And I also have to highlight though that for all the people who are like, well, I love sports, but I can't do D1 athletics, we still have sports for you. We have 2 other levels below our varsity athletics. So we have club sports, and then we also have intramural sports. Club sports are kind of like how your varsity team was probably like in high school. You practice for a few hours a week, and then also you do compete against other schools sometimes. For example, we have swim club who has gone to swim club championships before. We have basketball club. We also have soccer club as well, and there are also many more clubs as well. Frisbee club, I forgot to mention them. And the great thing, as I mentioned before about clubs, if there's a sport that we don't have, you can try and create your own through our overall club system. And then for the people who are like, I don't even want to practice, I don't even want to do all of that, intramural is where it comes through for you. With intramural, all you have to do is set a time and a place, and you just show up and you play a game. Everybody always says that if you're practicing too much, you're trying too hard for an intramural team. And the great thing is that if you do end up winning the intramural league, you get a nice shirt. So it's fun for all the friends. But some people, they're not into team sports, such as myself. And the great thing is that we still have options for the solo workouts as well. So we actually have up north one of our biggest gyms on campus, which is called SPAC, the Sports Pavilion and Aquatic Center, and in there we have an Olympic-sized swimming pool where you can go in for a swim. But we also offer a bunch of free fitness classes as well. Here at Northwestern, I've done Pilates, I've done body pump, I've also been able to do kickboxing as well, and we also have a state-of-the-art weight room, which I love to train in, and we also have a full indoor track as well. So for all the fitness peeps, there's a lot of great different opportunities to come and work out. And maybe you're not into a workout, but you just want to get a massage. Luckily for us, we also offer massages as well. And we have white light therapy for anybody who's tired of the darkness of winter. So a lot of great things that come here with our fitness and wellness. Here at Northwestern, students live their first 2 years here on campus. But honestly, it's not really that big of an issue since you're near such a gorgeous lake. And the great thing is that we also have a lot of different dorm options for you to pick from. So the way we split it up is residential halls and residential colleges. Residential halls are usually like the bigger dorms. They have upwards to like 500 people, while residential colleges are usually grouped together by a certain kind of theme and are much smaller, even as small as 25 people. There's a lot of different themes when it comes to residential college. So for example, we have an engineering residential college, a communications residential college, and even a sustainability residential college. You usually have to write a small application to get in, but it's usually really easy and you don't have to be in that major to apply. And also another great thing is that if you end up living in a residential hall but want to participate in a residential college, you can be a non-living residential college member and still participate in all the fun activities that they do. Residential colleges sometimes have formals, they do ice skating trips, they'll also have dinner nights. I was part of Willard Residential College and we would sometimes do like a foodie night, and one time we even made dumplings, and also we made ramen as well. And those are only some of the great things that residential college offers. But that doesn't mean that residence halls don't also host their fun activities. They just usually don't have any kind of theme for them. But for residential halls, you might usually do activities for your floor. So when I lived in one of the residence halls called Lincoln, me and my roommates and other people on my floor would usually have different kind of food nights. One time we did wing nights. We also had a night where we tried all these different kinds of sodas. And not to mention, depending on which area you live in, the residential area you live in, we have 4 different ones. They also will host activities for you as well. So there's a lot of different ways that Northwestern will make your dorm feel like a home away from home. And I know for me, it especially has been good because my roommates and my suite mates from my freshman year are still my best friends friends to these days, so I personally have no complaints. Sorry for other students who do. But we also have a great, I also have to talk about dining if I'm talking about residential life. We have 4 dining halls here on campus, and they're in all of them are in dorms. And the great thing is that they all serve different foods for the different meals of the day. So if you're not feeling one dining hall, you can easily go into another dining hall, because as a freshman and sophomore, you're usually part of the unlimited meal plan, which means that you can go into the dining halls as many times as you want. And you can also go into our student center and get food from there with your 5 meal exchanges, and you also will have dining dollars to get anything else that's not part of the meal exchange as well. So with that, we have a lot of different food options, not to mention that we have dining halls that also specialize in allergy-free foods, and they also specialize in kosher-free foods, halal foods, so vegan and vegetarian foods, so there's something for every student to eat. But if you're still like, well, I want to cook something, I want to make something, the great thing is that basically every residential hall or residential college also has a kitchen in them, so you can cook your own food as well. So as I mentioned before, I'm not only part of the School of Communication, I'm also part of the School of Engineering technically because of my entrepreneurship minor. And here we have one of the engineering buildings behind us. It's technically Mudd Library, but it's also home to some computer science offices as well, and it's our 24/7 library here on campus. So you can shower there, but I wouldn't recommend it, and also it's my favorite library. But what I really want to talk about though is more about the interdisciplinary part of Northwestern. One of the things that really makes Northwestern interdisciplinary is the quarter system. So with the quarter system, our year is split up into 4 quarters, but we're only required to take classes for 3 of them. So we have summer quarter, which students are not required to take classes for, and then fall, winter, and spring, which is the main academic year. So this kind of differs from our semester peers because we usually take more classes. We do 4 classes per quarter, so 12 classes per year, while our semester peers would usually take 5 classes per quarter, 10 classes per year. And the reason why it makes us really interdisciplinary is that we take more classes to do our degree. And while for some people they might be like more classes, it's actually more exciting than that because it means that you can explore so many different things. One of the reasons why I've been able to take a class in every school and been able to take classes in things that I don't major or minor in is because of all these opportunities to take extra classes. I already mentioned before, but I've done music and painting, and I've also been able to do economics and sociology. All these things that are not even classes within my own school. And one of the great things too is that we have a lot of other things that can count for class credit as well. You can have internships count for class credit, research count for class credit, and the quarter system is just giving students more opportunities in ways that they don't realize. And I also just have to highlight too that for any of the students who are worried about maybe like not coming into a major that they don't like, I also have to use myself as an example because even though now I'm a film major and an entrepreneurship minor, I actually started out as a computer science major in the School of Engineering, and then I decided that it wasn't really for me and ended up switching out of the major. And that's the great thing about Northwestern is that it's really easy to switch between majors, and it's also really easy to switch between schools. Switching between majors within the same school, not that hard, and switching between schools literally only requires an essay. And that's the great thing is that for other places it might it's usually a complicated process, but Northwestern so much believes in that interdisciplinary thing, they even allow you to be able to try out everything that you'd like. And I even know somebody who's been in all 6 of the schools, and guess what? They still graduated on time. And that's just a great thing. So for all you undecided folks, this is definitely the place for you. And for anybody who has 20,000 interests like me, well, this is definitely the place for you. So now we're here at Art Circle, and I want to talk a little bit about arts on campus while showing you some of our great art buildings. So we have the Pixar Concert Hall here. We've had a lot of great guest speakers come here, but also we have our Beanon students who perform the recitals here, and also orchestras that have performed here. I actually listened to Vivaldi 4 Seasons here a few months ago with my friend, and honestly, it was beautiful. And considering it's only $5 for students, I would say a deal. We also have here the Block Museum of Art. A lot of students can actually do fellowships here if they're interested in art, but another great thing about it is that it's free. And you'll be hearing me say that a lot because free things are great things, which is why students love it here on campus. But in there we have different art exhibits that usually change every quarter, and we actually had a great art exhibit for Nigerian and African art in general a few months ago, and I was able to see Edo art here on campus, which was really exciting for me. We also have across the circle the Ryan Musical Center for Arts. Over here next to me, we have one of our many theaters here on campus. And something about Northwestern is that they love a production. We have at least 50 plus productions every year. And the great thing is that most of them are usually free for students or really cheap. And I always say, why would you not want to go and see the next Meryl Streep for free, basically? And actually, I have to tell you guys that I'm not underestimating how good the productions here are. Considering that I watched Matilda on Broadway and Matilda at Northwestern, let me just tell you, Matilda at Northwestern was better. But not to only talk about theater, we also have a lot of other art opportunities on campus. We have multiple a cappella groups. Word on the street is that we actually inspired Pitch Perfect. And then we also have a lot of dance groups on campus, and it's all different types of dances as well. And remember, if there isn't a dance group that you like, you can create your own dance group, which is really exciting. And I just love that we have so many dance groups and so many art groups in general, because I get to see every one of them perform. So that also gives me something else to do on the weekend in between studying, or after a stressful test, going to watch Refusing Shaka in the fall, one of my favorite things. So we're coming up to Lewis Hall. This is another radio, television, and film building. It's actually where mostly film production classes are held. So we have a green screen room in there. But another great thing too is that it's home to the WNUR studio. And WNUR is a radio show that is hosted here at Northwestern. And it's all student led, which is pretty cool. But I feel like I can't just talk about radio, television, and film. I have to talk about my entire School of Communications. School of Communications is really great for the fact that we really have a great focus on interdisciplinary education. We're required to take science or math classes, humanities or social science classes, and also fine arts or literature type classes. As well as most students are also required to take language. My language was French, and we're also home to a bunch of different types of modules you can do, and also the musical theater certificate. So there's a lot of different things you can do here, which is so exciting. I actually did the directing module since I want to be a director, but there's also other things for students who are interested in writing, who are maybe interested in making video games. And another great thing too with School of Comms is that you're allowed to take as many classes as you can in different schools as well. I already talked about how I've taken a class in every school, but a lot of School of Comm majors also might double major within other schools like Weinberg College of Art and Sciences, or they have a minor in another school like myself, how I have a minor in the School of Engineering. And that's one of the great things about Northwestern is our overall flexibility. So we're coming close to the end of our tour, but I have to tell you one of my favorite fun facts about Northwestern, and that is that we have more beaches here on campus than the University of Miami, so we are the ultimate beach school. And here's one of our beaches here. We have South Beach, and it's also home to the Sailing Center where you can rent rowboats, sailboats, and you can also canoe as well if you'd like, and you can also take lessons if you never have before. And that is only the first beach of Northwestern. As I mentioned, we have a second beach, and it's up north, and that is also a great beach for anybody who likes a beach picnic. But being able to be in the Midwest and claim you're a beach school is honestly the ultimate flex. And I feel like this is a great time to talk about my why Northwestern. There's a lot of reasons why I picked Northwestern, but I also feel like I have to mention the reasons why I've stayed, since they've changed greatly since my why Northwestern days. So first off, I really did pick Northwestern because of the academic flexibility. Being able to do so many different classes as I've been able to do, like classes in every school, is something that I feel like I could only have ever done at Northwestern. And not to mention, starting out as a computer science major and then being able to change to film is not something a lot of other people have the opportunity to do. But Northwestern is all about making sure you do what you want to do and being able to explore your interests, and that's what I've done. I started out as somebody who did not know what the heck I would do after I graduated, and now I have a clear, focused mind on where I'm going. And I also have to say, though, why I stayed is because of the people. Nothing beats it like the Northwestern people. And I know, everyone will say, well, a lot of schools have great people, but there is just something about the Northwestern community that makes them not like the other communities, I have to say. I have met lifelong friends here, people who I know for a fact are already requesting me to be their maid of honor. I've met people from all around the world who I can call homies for life. It's one thing to have a great community, but having a great community on such a beautiful campus has made the experience even better. You know, having the lake, we have beautiful flowers, we have nature, and we have gorgeous buildings. Honestly, Northwestern has really inspired me to put my best self forward, and I will appreciate the 4 years I've had here. Thank you for coming on my tour. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you soon on campus.